We're on.
Good evening.
Good morning, good evening.
My belief was this screw was short enough and high enough that it wasn't going to be a problem, but I'm going to start the dado blades out here and kind of work in, and if things turn bad, I'm going to take this screw out before I hit it. I know I am. If you see sparks, you'll move.
Good evening to everyone.
Oh, good evening, Ronnie.
How are y'all
Turn down.
doing? It's the UK tonight.
Wet. Dark and wet.
What is it, 12:30 there right now?
It is, yeah, 12:30 a.m. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's pouring with rain.
Hey, Ronnie.
Oh, hey, there he is.
I'm here. I've been away for a few weeks.
I know you have. How was your vacation?
Yeah, it was good.
Good. We're glad to have you back.
Oh, always coming back, Ronnie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's good to go, but it's good to be home. It looks like you found a barber somewhere along the way.
That's right, but I found a Turkish one, not a Hungarian one, so I thought I'd go a bit shorter because I'm away next week. I'm
There
off
you
again.
go.
I'm off again for a week.
Haircuts are far and in between right now.
So if it's a Turkish one, you got your ears done as well, did you, Martin?
Well, that's right. You've got to get your value for money. You've got to get your value for money.
Aye.
There's one thing for sure, it'll grow back. And while it keeps growing back, I'm happy.
Yeah, thank goodness it grows back.
Guess you guys got a lot of coffee in you, huh?
No?
Okay, we're gonna mute up everybody again.
You don't want to hear this?
If you'd like to chat, good evening, folks. If you'd like to chat formally on a meeting, you need to press the pause button. I'm sorry, the space button, and we can keep going. But as long as we got all that background sound, we can't do that. A lot of folks in tonight. A lot of folks in tonight. It's about rock and roll here. Of course, checked in. Okay. Got them all. And we're just admitting everybody that comes in because you're more than welcome. Lou Newell is with us tonight. That's nice to see. Been a busy week around. If I'm going to switch this thing over to gallery view, I'm going to put it in gallery view. And my accountant is also a wood burner. And we were talking, my wife and I were talking to him just yesterday. And he said, oh, yeah, I've seen that show. It's called The Brady Bunch. Now, for you Americans that have seen The Brady Bunch, look at the screen right now. It looks like The Brady Bunch. We should have some theme music back there because everybody's involved. And, oh, we really got a good pack tonight. Kim's here with us. I see her in the background. I see Dave Leader in. Lou, wait a minute. Hey, Lou. Hold on. I gotta spotlight you. All right. Hey, Lou, what you trying to show off something there, bud?
Well, yeah, I thought it might be interesting.
Right in front of you. There you go.
It's a Christmas ornament, and it's kind of a variation on an inside-out turning. It's not really a true inside-out. And if anybody's interested, I can talk about how I did it.
All right. Well, how about we do that in a little bit?
Okay.
Okay. And thank you, Lou. And
I also brought this, which you had asked about last week when we were having our discussion. I had the my scroll.
okay, great,
We
great.
can talk about that too.
Got to mention, we're making a few adjustments, and this is coming from you, the membership. So we're going to make these adjustments. The way we're going to handle gallery is you go to the chat thing and tell the chat thing, I want to have something in gallery. We have a team member that's watching that. Is that right, team member? Your turn to talk. I know he's out there. I can hear him breathing. Dane? He signed on, but Dane.
Wow. Can you hear me now?
Now I hear you.
Right on. I hear you. I'm watching.
All right. Dane's going to be watching that, and then Dane will enter the gallery pieces as we get around to them. So I don't want you to feel like I got something to show, but I don't know how to do this. So all you have to do, that's my boss. She's right behind me. Probably
Management.
That's management, yes. Well, look, y'all missed it. I actually got a kiss there. No, you didn't hit me with anything. But I don't want anybody to miss a chance because they felt we talked over them, past them, or whatever. So if you'd like to do something on gallery, put it in chat. I don't need more than that than just say, I've got a gallery item. I want to do gallery. Hey, Dane, whatever you want, put it in there. And then Dane will tell us, I got Lloyd on or whoever, especially if it's Lloyd. And he wants to show a piece. That's how we're going to do that. And the next thing I have, this is early in the agenda, is I've been sending out an email invitation since this whole thing got started. And last week, y'all were here when I had a computer glitch. This week, I started sending out the email invitations and realized that everything I had open when that computer glitched out last Wednesday night is gone. So the contact list they kept the contact list, but everything and everybody's on the same list. That's business, personal, pleasure, club, everything's on one list. So I'm going to try one time next week. I don't make anybody mad. I'm going to put her on it in case yada, 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 and send it out. But before that happened, we had decided that because the website is up and running, and on the front page of the website, over on the side, and I'm going to get this right, over on the side, I'm the wrong hand, over on the side, there's a spot that says join the meeting. And David's got it set up where if you click on that thing, you come to this. So they're really, for you folks that are with us and been with us in a while, the code's never changed. We don't have a password. You don't pay any money. You don't have to join up or stand on one foot or anything else. You go to that link and you're right there. So that's where we're making a few adjustments here. We're getting started a little early tonight, but I'm going to say this right now because I got a lot of email about this. Who are our new members? Speak up, press the space bar and tell us who you are and where you at. We hear you breathing. Okay. We got, oh man, the waiting room's full. So I guess we got no new terms tonight to talk about. Busy week. I got about 15 items in there to talk about. I'm going to tell you what, let's do a little offset gallery item. Instead of me asking Dane what's on gallery, I'm going to ask Dane, what do you have from last week's meeting that you want to share with us on gallery?
I see Lou Noel has something he would like to show.
Yeah, but I'm talking about you, Dane. What do you got? You did something that...
What do I got? Well, after last week's meeting with the demo that Paul put with his goblet and the braided stem goblet, I took the challenge and made myself one.
Nice stem, really nice.
So this is black mesquite, and I after I carved out the banding strips, the twists, I dyed it with black. And then it's just finished in Parfix 3408 and buffed with Phonics.
Wow. That's
Dan,
nice.
can you hold a stem up? Can
All
you
because
hold a stem up,
I've heard
please?
the before.
Okay. Now you got the tip on how to do that from last week's meeting when we
Yes.
had Mr. Hannaby in, and he did that demonstration. I think I've seen him in. There's Paul Hannaby down there right now. I'm going to click over to Paul. Hey, Paul, you see that? You taught him last week.
Yep, very good, Dane. Glad to
Thank
see
you.
someone was listening.
And that's what we're here for, folks. You see, if we can bring in a guest demonstrator and a demonstrator can show us how to do a project, change a technique or whatever, that's what we're all here for, to talk about wood turning. Now, you said we have somebody waiting in gallery. Who's that?
Yes, Lou Newell.
All right, go ahead and
What
say
up?
something. Lou, we'll get you there.
Lou?
Lou, press the space bar and start talking. I'm gonna have to-
Well, where am I?
All right, now I got you, Lou. That's the piece you said that it's semi inside out.
Yeah, it's sort of, instead of, before I've done inside out turnings before, but this is sort of the same approach. What I did was I had 4 segments, and I carved in. So they were sort of like,
Put it right in front of you, Paul. I mean, Lou.
yeah, sort of like this. And I had made a pattern, okay. And this was a preliminary thing, just trying to see if the idea was even going to work. And so I made 4 of these, and they were cut out partly on a bandsaw and partly with a fret saw. And then I, painted the part that was on the inside so that it would kind of stand out a little bit. It's kind of neat. You can see all the way through from.
Got to pull it right by, even with your eyes, Lou. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah, if I rotate it, you can see me through there.
Yep.
And I guess the wood that I used on this was hadit. You say, what is hadit? Well, I looked in my wood box and that's what I found, so I had it.
Had it? All right. You got me there for a minute. I got to look this up.
Yeah.
Well, right?
The other thing that I had here was, in our discussion last week, I had mentioned that I had taken a slightly different approach to doing the scrolling. And on this one, I also had done a captive ring here, which was kind of interesting. But that's the reason my stem is thicker, was because I was trying to accommodate what I was doing with the captive ring, and I was learning. The tool I used to do the center of the captive ring was an Allen wrench that I ground an edge on.
That audio coming over on the dot?
Somebody said something?
Yeah.
All right, Lou, I very much, that is a beautiful piece, and I appreciate you showing it to us tonight. That's the nifty thing with that captive ring. We get a lot of ideas from this. I can be surprised if we don't see those in the gallery in the near future. I do know that Paul Hannaby is online. He said he's got something to spotlight. Hey, Paul. Explain it, please. Push your space bar.
You're muted, Paul.
All right. Paul, press your space bar. We can't hear you.
There you go. Yeah, it's a beer pump handle.
A beer pub handle.
But, yeah, the idea is this goes on the pump, and you pull that to pull the beer.
I've never seen one of those. That's, you know.
There's another one. I'm working on a set of 4. It's a commission for somebody, but yeah, these are made out of ash, and that's 2 of them. But I've got 4 to make in total. I've got 1 more to do to complete the set, but I thought I'll bring a couple of them up to show you something different. But I mean, the length and the hole, there's a hole all the way through the center of that. You look at it, and on you can see the size of the hole and the length is sort of determined by the pump where it fits. But you've got pretty much free reign, apart from the diameters top and bottom, to create any shape you want. So that's what I was asked to make, and these will be in a pub just down the road from me sometime soon.
All right, thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Well, let me go over to Dane. Dane, you got anybody to add?
No, I'm not seeing anybody else.
All right. Remember, folks, the way we're working this, we'll revise it again or refresh it. If there's something you want to put in gallery, put it in the chat. All I need you to do is tell Dane that you want to show something in gallery. Pop it up there. A couple of weeks ago, Johnny Hughes was with us, and he was in his shop. That's where he hangs out at. And he had a laser engraver working and was showing a laser engraver that wasn't a very huge item. And I'm kind of restricted on activities. I couldn't stand it anymore. I went and bought one. Let me see if I can get this up here. There.
I saw your video.
Yeah. I popped this out the other day, and I got a whole lot of them. And this one, the flip side is my buddy Ronnie. And Ronnie, I got a whole pile of them here for you. I got your name in different fonts. I got it spelled.
Yeah, that looks real good.
Yeah, I got it spelled right most times. And I'm still learning how to do this. This gizmo's not Mac friendly. And they would tell you this before you bought it. But so if you got a PC, you're in better shape than I am, but you're not completely compatible with the Mac, but I'm getting there. I'm learning from the folks that put this thing together where to find art free on the internet, free, where to get fonts free, how to develop the fonts free. Here's the deal. I bought the rig and I'm buying these wooden discs to do, because I don't have any wood in the shop right now, or that I can do this on. These little thin 1/8-inch thick disc. A whole bag is like $4. And I can burn up a lot of them for $4, especially when you're learning how to do it. But where did that come from? Right here. And we had some other guys say they've had it, they've worked on it, they've got it. They've shown us bowls and boxes and all that has been laser engraved. And it's a nifty, my wife says it's a nifty toy, but it's a nifty add if you want to add something to your work. And once you learn how to use it, the power, the speed, I didn't know it was, I thought you just type it in and let it go. Once you understand the balances to get it all there, you end up with a nice project. I mean, Johnny sent us a couple of center guides that had some engraving on it, which was really, really nice. That's when it convinced me that I didn't know what I was doing. So I called Johnny, just like you guys can do. You can call somebody on this program. You can text them. You can put it in the chat. If you need help, put it in the chat. They'll find you. But I called the guy that's in our club, and I said, hey, it ain't working. And in 5 minutes, he explained to me that I was plain, flat out stupid. I was reading the codes. Hey, John, we did that. I was reading the codes and I was understanding them exactly backward of what they did. And so why don't you put this in and this in and this in and do this? The next piece came out perfect. I mean, perfect. 5 minutes with a club member and I was there. That's what we keep talking about, the club member. I see Mark Soleil check in. He's working under an alias this week, so
Yep.
put him up under a co-host there. Hello, Mark. Good seeing you, sir.
Well, I'm hanging in there, man.
Right.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. All the way from
Okay. I thought I would, I've got one little thing to show tonight if you want to see it.
I'm go ahead. Let's go.
Okay, Christmas is coming up. It's just around the corner. If you don't start now, you won't have your stuff available.
Exactly.
This is a Banksia seed pod Christmas tree. Let me come.
Get it real close to your face. Get it close to your face. Whoop. No. All right, there you go.
Okay.
Wow, that's unique. Sound like a Christmas tree.
All right, so you got a little bottom up and everything. That's a Banksia seed pod. And so what you do is you just make your triangle. And of course, the Banksia seed pod, you got to remember one thing. Number one, you must have ventilation. Number two, you must wear a mask. The little brown hair on this stuff floats around like asbestos, right? So anyway, you make your triangle and put your little ornament up on top and all that. And you have a tenon down here, right? And then after you finish it, you're gonna have to burn that little hair stuff off with a torch. And you use a dental pick to pick out the little seeds out of the holes here. And then you make a jam chuck that's like this, right? You jam it in like this. You just make a hole of a jam chuck and come up under your tenon, and then take your tenon off, put an underscore on it, and make it a little fancy like a base. And then that is sprayed with high gloss Krylon, right? And that's it.
One of my favorite coats, my favorite top coats is a Krylon, or the Ace Hardware cheap version. So, but thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. And Mark's exactly right, folks. If you're not working on Christmas stuff, you're going to be out of time.
Right.
Right now, get your Christmas stuff made, but lock it up, because if my grandkids show up and their stuff's in sight, it's gone. And it just ain't my grandkids. It's my daughter, my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law. They all line up. So if you get it, box it, put it away until Christmas time. The only way to keep track of it, and that's what I do. I think we have somebody else for gallery, right, Dane?
Let's see here.
James Desbro.
Let's see, James was asking when the video was done on the goblet, and so we put in there the last week's session.
Okay. Couldn't read.
We got a conversation laser engraving from Tim Robertson. Tim, do you want to talk about it?
Tim, come on in. Just press the space bar, Tim, and we get going.
Don't be shy. Come on, Tim.
Tim, don't.
Yeah, I had to unmute. So you hear me now?
Now we got you, buddy.
Yeah, Eddie, you were holding up the disc. I actually take sheets of plywood or sheets of hardwood and cut those discs out with my large machine. They only take a few seconds to cut. So, I can cut 20 or 30 of those in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Whoa.
But I've been engraving for about 8 years. And one of the things that I do is actually make those little medallions to go in the bottom of bowls. So I cut those and put people's signatures and stuff like that and send them out to guys, and keeps them from having to buy their own laser. Usually, sell them for like $1 or so. But you guys keep buying those lasers. They're fun to work with.
They sure are. Thank you. It is. And I'm kind of, where to go? Here I am. I'm kind of homebound, and I was thinking about what can I do to play around. This is working in my den. I don't have a smoke problem. I had an over problem. I did some leather today. The boss came looking to find out about it.
Leather is definitely going to stink, and the other one that stinks is deer antlers. If you engrave on deer antlers, when I turn pins, sometimes people will want like a photo of a deer engraved on the pin. So you make the deer antler pin, and then engrave the photo of the deer on there, and it's kind of neat. But they're fun. Like I said, you guys keep buying those things. Those ninjas, I guess, is probably about what you got. They're around $100, $150. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, a little more than that for the step up. That's okay. That's okay.
Well, the replacement tube for mine's like $10,000. So they're a little more than that too.
Somebody sent me a photograph of turning this week, and my response was, "What?" That's all I had. Was my response was "What?" And it was right here. Johnny Hughes had sent me a picture of what were those things, Johnny? Push the button.
What's that?
The things you showed me that was engraved or cut in with a laser. 2 little items. I'm just going to let you know it's little items.
Okay.
You flipped it from someplace. All right, help me out.
I really don't recall.
They're toothpicks.
Oh, yeah. This guy had engraved some toothpicks there.
And I mean, they were fantastic. I don't think he turned the toothpicks. But they were nice. Had a little fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
It was. But we don't want to get off on this tangent too much, folks. We're talking wood turning. If you've got a gallery item you want to show tonight, go to your text box that's in the bottom of your screen down there and click text. And to everyone, you don't have to pick Dane out. You put in, I have a gallery item. And then Dane will let us know that you're in the gallery line and what you have coming up. Again, I'll do this. If we have some new turners available, new turners that joined us tonight, press your space bar. Let us know who you are and where you're calling from or where you're joining us from. Go ahead now. Just do it right now. I know you're out there.
Doug Miller's got something he wants to show Eddie.
All right, Doug Miller. Yeah, we
Jump in there, Doug.
Doug, come on, get on board.
Don't forget to press your space bar.
I don't see you, Doug. Come on.
Here we go. Got me?
Now we got you, Doug.
All right. All right. Yeah, you keep saying do a space bar, but I'm using my iPhone, so that doesn't work. Anyway, I've got a box here. I turned this a while back, had a one-day group session with Jimmy Clues, and I pulled up a piece of cherry to turn this nice little box. You can you hear it? It's
I'll love for that hearing.
Well, anyway, it's a nice cherry box, but he said that wasn't good enough for him, so he had me do this little small bottom, and that still wasn't good enough for him, so he had me do a black palm inlay in the lid. So just a nice little box, about 3.5 inches tall, about 2.5 inches wide, and definitely hollow all the way through, bottom and the top. So
well, did
just something that was a lot of fun.
Did you finally make him happy?
Yeah. He was real happy with that.
Only wood turners go for that when you open a jar.
No, that's a fact.
People don't know. People don't care about that.
They don't want it.
Yeah.
You know, when my daughter goes to a swap meet or a flea market and there's wood turnings out there, she'll go through and she'll look for the snap box, and she'll go, oh, "This isn't good." My dad makes stuff better than that.
Oh yes.
Looks like Mike Morris has something, Eddie.
Oh, okay, Mike, come on in. Mike.
Yeah, hey, thank you. I got a bowl here that's made out of mahogany, and I was having some problems with it. I made it a while back. It's been a while since I've been in the shop, but Johnny helped me with it. So Johnny Hughes.
Yeah, I can't locate you, sir. Okay, now I got
You
you.
got it? Yeah. This is a bowl that was made out of mahogany, and I was having some problems with it. And I took it over to Johnny's, and he helped me fix it.
Now show it to us again. I couldn't get to the.
Okay, that's the bottom. And it's finished with just regular lacquer.
Boy, you out nicely. Nice. No tears.
Well, and the reason being was I was having some problems with it. And I took it over to Johnny Hughes, and he helped me finish it. And he did a good job.
It's in.
Oh, you did a good job.
That's what it's about. It's everybody helping everybody. So
that's it.
Very good. Very good. Jeff Snell, you got something to show?
Jeff, come on.
Yes, I do. How you doing, Eddie? Hey, I was up in Alaska a bunch of years ago. I did live up there, but we were going visiting the Alaska Bowl Company, and my friend turned around and got me some behind my back, knowing I was a bowl turner. And this is laser engraved. It's called it shows the Alaska Range, so that's actually etched in there. They do all kinds of pictures and stuff in bowls and things like that. It's pretty cool. And I just noticed, which I haven't noticed because it's been sitting on a shelf, they autographed the bottom. And they also had a nice little stand, which is just as important to display it. So it's Mount McKinley, the range, and it shows that it came from the bowl company.
That's nice.
And they do it right there in front of you. It's really neat. You can give them a picture. They scan the picture in, they put it in the bowl, and of course, it contours to the bottom of the bowl or whatever. And they, it was really neat.
Good.
I noticed this needs to be, it's pretty dry, so it needs to be finished a little more. But
what are you going to finish it with?
Some shine wax.
All right, the easy way out. All right, it's the top of the hour, folks. It's 7 o'clock, time to start the formal meeting, if there's nothing like a formal meeting. But I got a couple of things to tell you about. Number one, if you want to put something in gallery tonight, go to chat and say, have a gallery item. That's how Dane knew that these other folks, Mike and Doug and all these other people, wood turners, pardon, I didn't want to say people, but wood turners, have got something to show at gallery. That's how we're going to handle it from now on. So if you've got an item, let Dane know about it by in the chat, okay? Got to mention our decals are still available. I'm getting a lot of requests for them. It's simple. You have to send me a check made out to me or cash to my home address, Eddie Castellan, 330 Highway Drive, Jefferson, Louisiana. And I've got my own website if you want to go there and get it. But I can't sell it through my company or through this organization because we don't have a bank account, and I don't want to go through that. So if you'd like to buy one, a single is $2, a double is $3, 3 is $4, 4 is $5, right on up the line. What it is, the decals are costing me $1 a piece, and I have to cover the freight, but I can put a whole bunch of them in an envelope. So if you like that, and the decals, they're available right now. And we're adding a little something to the package whenever they're available. We like to do that. Dane showed you the Twisted Goblet. He got that from Mr. Hannaby's demonstration last week. And in your chat right now, Paul Hannaby, has placed a link to get to that video. So if you missed it last week, and because of glitch, we don't have the show. If you missed it last week and you want to see his complete video, it is listed in our chat right there now. So you can get it and you can check them out and see what it is, and let you get into this. Now, I got to mention that this organization is made up of people who tend to do everything in the world dealing with wood turning. And one of them, not just one, but one I know of, does YouTube videos. And one of my co-hosts just found her a minute ago, and what I'm looking for is Kim Tippin. Kim, are you there?
I'm right here.
There she is. Kim, I got word just a minute ago that you celebrated an anniversary with YouTube.
Yes, 1 year on YouTube this month.
1 year. All right.
Crazy. Time flies when you're having fun, or when
I know.
shavings are flying.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kim. And if you folks don't know about it, Kim's got a YouTube channel, and she posts some very intricate and interesting videos involving epoxy. Other things too, but involving epoxy. Look on the shelf behind her. See all those little white bottles lined up over there? All those little white bottles. That's her epoxy stock.
Yeah, I got a piece right now that this is not video. It's going to be next video that I just got done coating. Something a little. Let me get my box off here with that.
Well, you're cutting out on us a little bit, so in the audio.
Die trick, I guess. I'll show it to you really quick since we're on here. Let me switch my camera around. So it is coated. I coated it with resin. Right now it's hardening. It's a food safe interior and a resin exterior. And the reason why I put resin on there is because I put dye, wood dye, and I dropped some alcohol ink on it while it was turning real slow.
And what's going to happen?
So droplets.
I'm sorry?
And is my phone cutting out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out in the shop, so my reception's bad. I put alcohol ink, I dropped alcohol ink on it to create these like water droplet effects. And I wanted it to be glossy and also seal that in there. So I did a red.
Okay, we're losing you in your camera's cut.
So
it's all cutting out pretty bad.
Look at that video.
Video coming out when? Sorry. Thursday, Friday, tomorrow, today?
Here. Not this week, but next week. I try to film a good couple weeks ahead of time, so it won't be this week, be next week.
All right, thank you, Kim.
See how it turns out.
Congratulations, the anniversary with YouTube. And I received something today, folks. I'm trying to get over to it. I received this from Alan Woody, who is working with some demonstrations. He's from Hillsborough, North Carolina, near Chapel Hill. He's a member of the Chapel Hill Woodturners, and many of the guys at that organization teach at John Campbell. Well, he says they all having some great programs, and you need to check out the programs. So if you want to see what those programs are, and there's no cost to look and see what they are, I would look at YOU Maker, MAKER.org, youmaker.org, and you'll find a link to that, and look for that, and it'll give you the address to the carolinacraftcenter.com. That's one word, carolinacraftcenter.com. And you might find something you like or something you can turn or class you like to attend. What I like about going to one of these places like Garamont or John C. Campbell or whatever is the people you get exposed to, and the people you get to meet and program with. And I come back with more ideas from the people I work with than the people that are teaching, because regardless of what they teach, you have to watch what happens. And I don't really listen to the instructor. I know maybe it's rude. I watch how he uses his tools. And that's, a minute ago, the guy was saying that he went over to his house and got some tips and hints. It's how you use the tools that make a difference. I heard a little flack come up this week about last week. We heard about wire wool from Paul Hannaby. That's steel wool. Isn't it, Paul? Is that what we call in America? We call it steel wool. I think he might be there.
Yeah, same thing as far as I can see. Yeah.
Yeah, and they said used steel wool to do a finish on a piece. There's a lot of folks that don't agree with using a steel wool on a moving piece. Was it moving when you used it?
Yeah, as long as you wrap it up tight and make sure you don't leave any trailing ends, it's okay. And obviously don't wrap it around your fingers. But yeah, you've got to be careful with it.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, you're absolutely right. If you've seen how it's made on the video, I tape them all and I watch them about how things are manufactured. If you see how steel wool is made, you'll give it some respect because it's not scrapped off the floor. It's custom made for what it's used for. Also, I had a thing last week, a week before, we talked about scrapers. And somebody had said, well, negative rake is special. And then I went to a Cindy Drozda demonstration, and Cindy's got a whole line of demos coming up. You can just check out cindydrozda.com, and you can see all her demonstrations coming up. And she did something with her negative rake scraper. It looks just like Muskew. It really does. And I think her explanation is when you take that scraper and it's really sharp, it doesn't matter how you put it in there, as long as you use it as a scraper. And my thing with the scraper is it's got to be on a slight angle to do a curly Q cut. But you have to understand, scrapers are there for not roughing in material, although you can turn a bowl with them. Scrapers are there for putting that final cut on so you won't have that tear out and that pull out stuff that you're getting with your gouges or your plows. If we caught a little flack on that. We plan on doing a video of the program into the show to show you the difference with scrapers and gouges on a different way it tears up things. In just a few minutes, we're going to join a special demonstrator. Is that right, Dane?
Oh, no, not for tonight, no.
Not for tonight. Okay. All right. We're lining them up. We have some special demonstrations coming up for you in the near future. And that application is wide open, folks, wide open. And remember again, our worldwidewoodturners.org. Gotta say it right. worldwidewoodturners.org is our website. And Dave's doing a really great source for that. He's putting all kinds of information on it. So if it pertains to wood turning, it's on there. Videos, newsletters, all those pieces on there. Links to websites on there. Links to YouTube's on there. So Dave is putting this whole thing together, and get this, he's a volunteer, just like you can be. So we get that website. Well, we've been wanting it for a while. We now have it. It's up running. It's beautiful, and it's open to you. And if you have a photograph you want me to put on that, or you want us to put on it, it's not just me. If you have a photograph you like for us to put on the website, using the newsletter, showing this program, and otherwise just respect your work, email it to us. worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. Nothing special. worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. That's our website. Our email address, worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. Simple. Take a picture of your work. You can do it on your phone and just email it to us. Don't send it by any other means because it won't get used. The quality drops off, goes up and down. It's got spots and lines on it and all that stuff.
Hey, Eddie, why don't you take a break from talking? We got 3 people chomping at the bit to show their items.
Tell me who they are.
All right, we got up next is Galaxy A10E. Galaxy A10E. Speak up, please.
Come on, jump in there. I can't highlight you if you don't.
Galaxy still there?
I got you, Dan. I don't have the Galaxy.
Okay, well, moving on, we'll go to Arizona John.
Arizona John. Talk, John.
There, you got me now?
I got you now, John.
All right, this is a piece of crotch. It's a crotch bowl. It's made out of olive, and It's got a lot of CA glue along the whatchamacallit, bark. And it took a long time doing this because it was pretty green. A friend of mine cut down 2 gigantic olive trees here in Phoenix. I mean, big gigantic olive trees. And so a lot of it's green. I filled up the back of my truck. I emptied my chainsaw of gas. So I've got a lot of it on the side of the house drying. But I had some cracks in it, and I used some of that black CA glue, and it turned out pretty good. One of the guys in our club judged it, and he liked it. So John Lee, I don't know if you ever heard of John Lee, but he liked it. So I put some, I think I put some of that Frenchie's polish on there, is what I used on it.
Good.
And I think I got that. And by the way, I'm a big Kim Tippin fan, by the way, and we watch her all the time. Even my wife likes to watch her. My wife won't go near the lathe, but sure loved Kim. But I think we used that on here, and anyway, that's crotch bowl.
It looks nice.
Appreciate it. And the first name you called off, Dane, I believe they're back with us. Who's that?
Oh, okay, Galaxy 810. Are you ready? Galaxy 10.
They dropped out, but I saw them come back in the waiting room just a minute.
All right. Well, let's go with Chris in the UK.
Galaxy just came back.
All right, I got Galaxy now. Okay.
You're muted, Galaxy.
I'm trying to get them up, and it won't happen.
Galaxy, you're on mute.
Galaxy, this is Eddie and Dane. Good afternoon. You have to unmute.
Terry Reynolds. Unmute yourself.
I'm used to that yummy beefy flavor.
Okay. We can't see it.
Can you hear me?
We can now.
You hear me now? I'll go back to you again. Go ahead, talk.
Am I up?
Okay. Apparently he's on a telephone connection.
Terry, we can't hear you.
Everybody at home, just so you know, we're going to kind of so we're at 4 right now. So I'm starting off the menus on here.
Your camera's working fine. You need to talk.
Someone else is talking.
Buy the 3 different cheeses. Tastes good together. Not yummy.
All right, who's got the background sound? Turn it down.
Okay. A little bit of sriracha.
Yeah.
Okay.
She makes pimento cheese.
All right. I got it. I got to go back to the program now and mute everybody again.
Okay. Chris in the UK. Chris in the UK.
Hi, Dane. Yeah, you got me.
I got
Chris.
you.
Hi, you okay, guys? Can you see that, Eddie? Okay. Yeah, there we go.
What is it?
Right, that's a vase.
Okay.
An open vase. I've hollowed that out. Put the texture and colour on the outside, and then highlighted the higher ridges with acrylic paints.
Okay.
I do. Am I all right to shout out about my IODs, Eddie? Or
I didn't understand that, Chris.
am I okay to talk about my interactive remote demonstrations?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do demonstrations over the internet. Just gone live on the AAW demonstrator calendar as well. So if anybody wants to look me up on there, it's under the Bold Wood Turners.
BOLD wood turners?
B like bold, like being you. It's the Bold Wood Turners, yeah.
I don't know anything about that bald stuff. Okay. Good. Okay. Well,
okay,
Chris Barker, you're listed on Eddie. Just putting out that list that's AAW is they put a note out today.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so he's on there. It's real good land for people as well.
Good. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the update.
Okay.
If you
So
have
up next,
for
next is Joe Breach.
Joe,
Joe
you
Breach,
Space Barn Talk.
Traverse City.
I'm here.
There you are.
Now we got you.
This is a piece of really old apple wood that a friend gave me. And so I saved it and kept it pretty much original. I turned the outside on a couple different axes and then turned the inside on a couple different axes. But you can see that it was in a fire and burned here and burnt here. And then it has some scorch marks here. So I used Watco on the clear parts, and then I used walnut oil on the burnt part, and it made it darker. So this is going to go to my friend, and we're going to call it the Old Guard, because the tree was in his yard for a long time.
All right.
Yeah. Very nice.
Very nice. A little while ago, we were talking to somebody about the pop lid on the jar. He did a jar and had the pop lid. And I got a call from a viewer, a member of the team today, and he said when he's turning the pieces, he's not getting, when he pulls it apart, or it just falls apart. If it falls apart, what can he do about it? And I told him that I cheat a lot. I really do. Normally, if I still have it on a lathe, I can take some CA glue, medium thick, and I'll put it on a plastic bag that ink pens come in from when you buy a pen kit. That's different than a rubber glove, different than saran wrap, different than a bicycle tube. It's a different product, and it doesn't react to the CA. So I'll put a drop, just a drop, on the CA, and I roll it around that inside edge. Wait a few minutes, do it again. Wait a few minutes, do it again. Then I'll let it cure, and then I'll test the lid. Most of the time, what I missed was that minuscule amount. And then you can buff it out or whatever, because you're not going to remove a lot of it, but you're getting that look when that pop. And only wood turners do that. Really, only wood turners do that. Is Joaquin, are you up for showing something right now, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go there.
Okay. This is a box that I finished today. And let's see, here it is. I went to Pat Carroll's demo of turning a square box. And it didn't turn out square when you take and I thought I was overconfident. I didn't think it'd be a problem. I mean, it's a square. Well, when I was cutting this space out here, I knocked a corner off. I said, oh, what are you going to do about that? You know, I was going to put it up on the shelf, and I said, wait a minute. You can put it on the table saw and make an octagon out of this thing. And Pat, he puts a pewter inlay in here. Well, no, I'm not going to do that. So I decided I was going to put an 8-point star in there. The star is Texas ebony, and the black ring is African blackwood.
Nice.
And talking about a pop, I didn't design this, but it just happened. It's got a snap. It goes down, it snaps just by coincidence. I got that to happen, you know. So I can't wait to show it to Pat and tell him what happened.
Looks nice. Looks nice. You recovered from an incident, not an accident, an incident. And
yeah.
You made a nice piece out of it. And that's important.
Yeah, they call it design opportunity. I hate design opportunity. I want it to be what I want it to be. But
right.
You know.
Hey, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But never, somebody today asked me about what to do with a piece that's bad. And I said, save it. Never throw it to the burn pile.
Yeah.
Save it. The technique you'll learn.
A slacker stack.
Yeah. The technique you'll learn and develop on how to save it is worth more than what you've saved.
Absolutely. It is. Yeah.
And today I had a long conference with a guy about using a cutter. And he's doing something like a handle. It's got a dip in the center of it. And he said when he comes up on the left-hand side, he does good. But when he comes up on the right-hand side, he blows the corner off. And my question was, why are you scraping uphill? You know, everything's got an uphill, downhill thing. And if you're scraping uphill and when you come to the right, you've got more muscle memory and more strength pulling back to the right. You don't feel that catch. You blow it off. Whereas going to the left, you're not using the same, and you push past it and slide past it. But if you just want to go downhill on both sides, you'll probably get a better finish anyway, using the tool as a scraper. And sharpening was a major conversation because some folks don't understand. A real scraper is good for about 3 passes. Then you got to touch it up and get it in shape, because it is using that wire edge. One day we'll get somebody to show you a close up that wire edge. You get that wire edge, and that does the cutting. All right, do we have any more gallery out there, Dane? No, I don't see Dane in the seat. Okay, we'll keep going. I got a spoon, and that's Jim Hirsch. Hirsch? Jim, go ahead. Start chatting. You got to push the space bar and start chatting for us to find you.
Okay, I'm talking.
Now,
I got the mic unmuted.
I got you done. Go ahead.
Okay, I've got a spoon box here. This is made out of a single piece of wood. It's the lid matches the bottom, so you have to separate it before you turn the rest of the wood, and then put it back on, match it up in the end. It's just it's a 50 millimeter bowl. It's got a spiral thing and turned off set for the handle. This is a Marco Longo project from Australia, and this one goes with it. It's an emerging box, and again, you have to create a blank and remove this portion so that you can put it back on so the grain matches. Otherwise, you'll lose this when you create the box. This is a 60 millimeter, where is it? There it is, 60 millimeter bowl, emerging from a block.
Okay, and you're in Eugene, Oregon?
Yes, sir.
You're working with millimeters? You can get reported for that, you know that?
Well, he's from Australia, so that's the way he does things, you know what I mean?
That's nice. The second piece drives folks nuts because they can't understand how you're doing multi-axis turning.
Yeah.
You're doing multi-face turning.
Yeah, these are interesting to make.
Yes, that will test your chucking abilities.
Yes.
All right.
You only get one hit on the handle and they break, so.
Oh, only one hit. Okay.
Only one hit. Yeah, putting the spiral on is a very tender process.
That's a tight spiral. That's nice. That's nice. We have somebody else up, Dane. Who is?
Jason Cullen.
Jason, speak to us. Push them in the bar. Here's the thing. If you don't talk to us and push the space bar, we can't find you to put your picture up.
Well, you were talking about putting stuff on the shelf. I have sort of a bowl.
Sort
of? Got, well, didn't come out the way I wanted it to, and I've been sitting here looking at it for about the last 3 weeks, wondering if there's anything I can do with it.
Well, I don't want to throw that away, so I would.
Well, and that was kind of it too.
I would chuck it back up, knock that ring off, and add a multicolored ring to the top of it.
Send it to Kim. She'll take care of it.
Do what?
Send it to Kim Tippin. She'd love that.
Resin all over it.
Right?
You can also make an arched base out of it. This is Jim and Eugene. You can make an arched base out of it for some other kind of turning. Just cut it into parallel widths. Cut the sides off.
Another piece that's similar to shape. Take that down to where it's broken at, and then you can make a hollow form. You know how I think it was Cindy Droza. I'm not sure who taught you how to do hollow forms out of like 2 bowls. So
Yeah.
you turn. Yeah, it's like 2 bowls, and then you just glue them together. Yeah, just do another bowl and then, yeah, make a hollow form.
If you
I've always wanted to do it, just never have done it yet.
if you get a block of wood that you can cut both pieces of one block, and you don't have a real grain change going through it, when you put it back together, if you accent that joint, like put a wire burn or formica burn or something on it, people will think it's a solid piece. If that
Mark Soleil showed us something last week. Put that on a bandsaw and cut it out and add yourself a piece of contrasting wood to it. Right, Mark?
That's it. Yep.
There we go. Maybe I can just
Lots of opportunity
slice
there.
half of it off.
Make sure that you.
Yeah, I just keep looking at it. And I'm like, man, what can I do with that? How to make a design change.
The Mark Soleil fix might be a really good fix there, because it's already in a bowl shape, so you can pass it through the bandsaw safely to do that good clean cut. And then when you want it, before you glue onto it, I call it lapping. People that do motors know lapping, but you have a solid flat surface like your table saw bed, and you put your sandpaper down on it and you lap that edge back smoothly, and you remove the burrs and wrinkles and all that other stuff. If you tip it up in the end, you're going to ruin your cut. But lap it out. Same thing as when you coriander together. You need to lap it out. So
Doug Rowe got something, Eddie.
Who's that?
Doug Rowe does. First Sergeant.
All right.
Hey Eddie, I'm back. Here I am.
I didn't. Yeah, I thought you were AWOL there, buddy.
Yeah, no, I came in late. Hey, back to that bowl that he was just showing. So here's my out of the box thinking on that. Halloween's not too far away, so you've already got a half a mouth on there. You need to fix yourself up a lid, cut it just right to match that up, and there's your trick or treat Halloween bowl. Kids can reach right in the mouth and get their candy. All right, so let me get my camera around here. So a few weeks ago when I was doing the demo on chucks, worm screws, all that good stuff, there's the one that's still on the faceplate. Haven't done anything with it yet. That's the one that was on the worm screw that we were showing how to set it up with a worm screw.
Yeah.
So that's just what it came out as. That's a piece of elm.
It's nice. Good finish. Good finish.
But so this was my new thing. I've made plenty of goblets. I think most of us have. But I had this idea where I wanted to try and make somewhat of a concave bottom and put a bead on there. And I managed to pull it off. It wasn't easy trying to figure out the right angle to get the scraper in there and do that. But it turned out all right. So we think that might be California cedar, but we don't know for sure. It sure did smell like I was sharpening pencils in here when I was cutting on it.
Right.
And then last week we talked about the colored pencils on sale at Walmart. Well, I guess my wife found out because I walked into my workshop and she left me a gift. There's a bunch more she just bought me.
Dadgummit, Bobby.
Cleaned out his Walmart, didn't she?
Yeah, she sure did. So if anybody's looking for pencils in Prescott Valley, you probably ain't going to find them unless you come to my house. But that's all I got for y'all.
Thank you, Doug. Walker.
Bill Weiss, you're up next.
Who's that?
Hey,
Bill Weiss.
Hey, here I am. I've got a two-part hollow form that I just finished here not too long ago. It's cherry. Let's see, can you hear? Yeah, you can hear me.
That's good fit. Good look on that. And what did you do in the middle behind the joint?
That I took one of these engraving tools and went all the way around and just did little circles.
There you go.
Yes,
very nice.
It's cherry, and it fit real well. And everybody wants to know how I hollowed it through that. It's about a 3/4 inch hole, I guess.
Sell him your tool.
Yes.
Right.
But thanks to Frank Bowers on this, he taught us a class on two-part hollow forms. Really enjoyed it.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate it, Bill. And I think I saw that two-piece hollow form done at SWAT a couple of years ago, came back and did one, and I listened to the guy, I paid attention. I listened to the guy that said, if you want to hide a defect, accent it. And that's just what Bill did. It wasn't a defect, it was a joint. He accented that joint. You looked above it and below it. You didn't pay attention to that embellished area, which is what Bill's goal was, is to get you away from that area. Now, if that top line or the bottom line happen to coincide with a split, that's even better. But that's how you would hide something like that. And it's no, when I did mine, and I don't have it in the studio, I left that Liberty hole so you can barely get your finger in it, because the wood turners will come up and put their finger in it. Nobody else will. Wood turners put their finger in it to see if it got smooth on the inside. And if they get their finger in it, they're happy because it is. And it's got a finish on it. Explain that to them. All right, you got somebody else up, Dane?
Sign that on the inside too.
Okay. Say, Johnny, what's that?
So you sign them on the inside before you put them together, and that way they look through that little hole and see your signature inside.
That's crazy. How in the hell, how in the hell did he get that pencil in it? How could he read it as he was signing it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate that. You know, we're looking for demos from members. That'd be a great one. You know, stage it out. Show us how you prep the block. Show us how you laid it out on a piece of graph paper. So, because you have to have a template to turn this side to match that side. And you work with that template. And then you know, when you put it back together and you put your template over top of it, you know where that joint lines up to give you that 1/4 inch all the way around. You're really driving crazy when you do that. But you get that 1/4 inch all the way around. Now, without the template, about the time you think you're there, and you might be a little bit past it. So, and somebody told me one time, once you get a light, put a light in and turn to the thickness of the light. Okay, I didn't see him. All right. Anybody else up tonight with the guy? It's the bottom of the hour, 7:35. I got to do this just for a moment or so, and that's going to give me an idea when I edit it to put it up on YouTube of where this portion of the program is. I forgot to do it at the 30 mark, the original 30 mark, but now we're up and even. Who's up?
We don't have anybody calling anything out yet, Eddie, but I thought I would give a quick briefing on what we have coming in the future regarding casting.
Jim McCain, Coastal Bend Wood Turners, Corpus Christi, Texas.
All right, I don't have a picture for you. It looks like I'm looking at your Galaxy J3V. Is that you?
Talk again, sir.
Talk to us there, Jim.
Okay. Let me get my picture back up here.
Okay.
This is my first time, Eddie, so give me a break.
Hey, what do you mean give you a break? You know, we're all a team here. Come on, let's go, team. Come on. We're not working in a bubble. I love it. The shortest part of the news today has been the sports. All right, are you back yet? Now I got you. There you go. You got to push the space bar. You got. We don't hear you, and I can't unmute you. I'm asking you to unmute because I can't hear your voice, and but it's a pretty piece you have there. Can't unmute him.
If he's on an iPhone or iPad, he has to hit the unmute.
You have to press unmute on your.
Can you hear me?
Now I got you.
Yeah. Okay. Eddie, I got a couple of things I want to show you that I've done. This is a little segmented bowl that's mesquite and maple, and I've turned it a while back, and I really like it. It's kind of a brick laying type deal there. I wanted to show you that. And this is our president, Andy Phillips, he put this a piece of this just plain pine up, and he said, "Go ahead and turn something, and we'll get back together and see who has something made out of it." But this was what I made. It's out of just a piece of pine, and I went ahead and burned this steer roper in there with the rope. I burned the rope around the edge, and it's a steer rope and a steer on the head and then heeling type deal, and that's kind of what I am. And this is just one of my coffee mugs, and it's made out of a what we call Texas cedar post that we use for fence posts down here. And this is my first time, and I really have enjoyed it tonight. And thank you much, Eddie, for letting me get in there.
Oh, you're quite welcome, sir. Someplace on your phone it will say you can change your name, and because right now we have you as Galaxy J3V. So on there it says change your name. You could put your real name.
If you click on Participants and then click on your Galaxy J3, then it'll give you the option to change your name.
Say that one more time, Dane.
I'll get what
you should be able to.
I'll get with old Joaquin and what we can do about that.
You should be able to touch your cell phone screen, and then at the bottom you'll have participants, and then click on your find your name in the list, and then you should be able to hit your name, and it should give you an option to rename or change your name.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Do you have any grandkids? Do you have any?
Say it again.
Do you have any grandkids?
Oh yeah.
Well, call them.
Got some great grandkids.
Oh, great grandkids. They got it in a heartbeat. They'll come over and fix it for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got a grandson that he deals with this kind of thing. But this old 85-year-old man, he's still a little green on some of this thing.
Oh,
okay. That's all right.
How did you burn the rope?
There's nothing you can do to affect anything. So, but it's under participants, and it'll show so it'll be a list of names for everybody there, and then find your name, click on your name, and then it should give you an option to rename yourself.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can do that.
All right.
I burned the rope with just my
solder knife.
My graphic. Yeah.
How did you burn your name? I mean, burn the rope around there.
It's all done by hand. But I just I got me a pattern, and then I started burning as I went around the rope. And when I got to the end, and I'll show you, I love the loop and the tail there. I love that the way it turned out.
It came out real nice.
That's beautiful.
It is.
You did good, Jim.
And it's a piece of pine.
Thank y'all.
Excellent. How much?
Sounds good. Eddie, Mike Morris is up next.
Mike, start talking, sir.
And then we have Chris on deck.
Mike, you have to talk.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up a safety a minute to everybody. I do it for the lighthouse. And so I just wanted to mention to everybody that to put a sign or something outside your door to let people know when they come in your shop. If you're running a machine, to wait till the machine stops. Otherwise, it'll startle you, and you don't know, you might jerk and cut your hand or something.
Yeah, being surprised is not a fun event.
But safety's a thing a lot of people don't like to talk about, but I've been doing that for years, so I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mike.
No problem.
It's something we should always bring up. I'd like somebody, and y'all get the drift here, somebody that would do a minute or two, not drag, a minute or two each week on safety in the shop. Now, Mike said put a sign up to let people know. I got to point up when dog talk, you know, or something like that, because my dogs come in and believe they got to saddle up to me when I'm in the shop, you know, kind of rub on my leg or whatever. So disturbing me, when I have that disturbing me, it's not going to be too hard. I told you, oh, the CA filler coat. I talked to a turner the other day in the group, and he hears a lot of us talking about putting CA for a finish. And he tried some medium thick or some thick CA, and I don't remember the name of the manufacturer, but he used it as a surface filler to fill in divots in the product because he cut it too hard. He says 6 weeks later, they were all gray. And when he described everything to me, there was still water in the wood. It hadn't dried out. And CA doesn't like water. So if you try this thing with a CA glue, it might not work. But like we talked and with Kim last week, OB Shine Juice, my dear best friend, OB Lacoste, and something that Kim told us to batch up, they will level out a surface and help you get a better finish. They will not fix divots. You can't do divots with that because you will trap moisture between the coats and they will get gray. And even if it's shellac, it will get gray. So remind you again, folks, about worldwidewoodturners.org. That's our website. That's your source for everything we're doing right now. And that's where this program will end up tomorrow when I send it to Dave. And if you want to show a piece, put it on the chat that I'd like to demo or show a piece in gallery tonight. Dane Chandler out in Tucson, Arizona is watching that for us. And when you're up there, Dane says, hey, I got this guy that wants to show something. Dane, do we?
Chris Parker in the UK.
Yeah.
Chris Parker, we got you, buddy.
You got me there ready, yeah?
I got you up, man.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, this is a piece I turned. It's out of mulberry. I've never turned it before. It's a really nice wood to turn, but it's like I left something inside it when I turned it. As you can see, that's a real small hole. And what you was talking about before, Eddie, about concealing the entrance.
Yes.
Well, that's what I've done with the pyrography.
Very nice.
Yeah. Well, it really did well. And then
Yeah,
you
look-
put an accent ring on the bottom too.
No. Oh yeah, I put a little accent ring on the bottom to match the top.
Yeah. Right. Draws their eye off of it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I can't remember now. One of those beads in there is one of the join lines. I can't remember myself now, but it is one of them. And there's a couple of pebbles from my garden, and I just put them inside there, and it's a nice little talking point, like.
Yeah. Did anybody try to get it out?
Oh well, yeah. They've working out I got it in the first place, but I've not told them that yet.
All right.
But that is the first time I've used this wood, and that is a natural colour.
Wow.
Yeah, I've just used some lemon oil, which is like a clear oil finish, and it's a beautiful yellow, really mellow it is. And again, I've put the carving details in there, but you can see the pattern of the rings coming through really nicely. It's beautiful.
That's really beautiful. Really beautiful.
I like
it. Yeah, that's me. That's me done again, guys.
Yeah, you got all stuff like that on your YouTube.
Yes. Yeah.
Very good stuff.
Yeah, it's all there to be learned.
Yes, sir. That's what it's about, learning and sharing.
It is.
And I have to mention this, folks. If you don't know the rule, we have a no but program. And the no but program is, I can't tell Chris, I like that piece, but the but's not allowed. So if you want to show something, no one is permitted to or influenced to or asked to express an opinion on your work except that it's a nice piece of work you did, because you did the work. You really did. I'm getting something up here.
John from New Jersey. What you got, John?
John, press the space bar and start talking. John, are you with us? I got Johnny Hughes. That's not who you said, right?
John from New Jersey. John NJ.
John NJ. You have to press the space bar and talk, John.
Okay, you hear me?
Now
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have this little bowl. It's interesting. My wife said she sees faces in it.
Yes, I do too.
It's English elm. And the grain is just fantastic.
Yes, sir.
It says that's a little dog.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And that she's not sure what it is. She
It's
said it
a-
looks like a skeleton.
It's a seal. The seal
I see
is
an owl.
looking at you. The seal
But
is
the
upside
grain,
down.
Seal or an owl for sure.
the grain in this wood is just amazing. It's got the little herringbone. If you look close, it looks like herringbone.
Yeah,
It's English elm. It's just a little piece, but
pretty with a good.
I thought it was interesting.
It is. It is very interesting. Appreciate you sharing with us tonight.
Thanks.
You'll see seals, dogs, and all this stuff. We might have to adopt a no drinking program here. Okay. Anybody else up for gallery tonight? Because it's only 10 minutes before 8 o'clock. We got a little time to show it. Or tips or tricks, because I have a whole crew of folks that'll do that for us. I mean, we have Kim, Mark, Doug, Dane, Johnny, and Ronnie, and a whole bunch of others. So if you got tips, tricks, or something to show or talk about, I'd like you to jump in there right now. We have a word that AAW is releasing this week. AAW is going to release a list of programs to have that are virtual demonstrators. Now, they'll give you this without being a member of AAW. It's not that only members get it. It'll be on their website, and I think it's called woodturner.org, but look up American Association Woodturner, woodturner.org, and you'll find this list. Now, here's the thing. Most of them are going to be pay-per-view, okay? And nothing wrong with that. Pay-per-view, but check them out. And most of these folks will have a website that you can go see what you're getting into before you jump on board. So if you see that, like Cindy Grows, that does remarkable pieces on boxes and containers and fluid twisted pieces and flat. She does awesome work with artwork. And that, if you see her work on her website, you'll understand that when she says, I'm going to go for the 5-point or the 6-point star with this kind of thing and this kind of thing, then you can get an idea. You've seen on her website, that's where we're going, which is nice. And I told you about the one from, it's called umaker.org, and it's dealing with the folks at the John Campbell Craft School. And if you want more information for that one, go to youmaker.org. It's youmaker.org, and you'll find more information. Now, Chris said a little while ago, can we talk about him doing demos? Sure, Paul Hannaby does demos. We got a handful of guys that do demos. They're all in here, and we'd like them to get involved. I have no problem about that. The rule when we formed this organization was we're not going to be associated or owned or controlled by any sales or corporation. We're going to stay there because it gives us a lot of flexibility. And we're inviting other clubs to join in. Johnny Bile with a club out of, well, Johnny's out of Mobile or that area. I can't look at the whole screen who's in, who's not in tonight. But if we invited him and his group to join, and you can invite everybody you know that turns wood. Go to our website, worldwidewoodturners.org. It gives you the link. You know it's free and it's open. You know, I want to looking for a tip. I'm going to go west. Is that west? I'm going to go west, and I'm going to find Doug Rowe. Doug, you say you got
good segue.
Doug is here. All right. Let me see. You got me. There you go. Let me get my camera turned around here again. So I'm looking around my shop and thinking about little tips and things that I learned from other people on how I do. And we've been talking a lot about CA glue tonight. Eventually, if you're using that CA glue, you're going to spill it. It's going to land on the lathe bed. Ask me how I know. So the best way I have found to get that CA glue off my lathe bed is a really sharp chisel, and I just bring it straight across, and it actually comes right up. My lathe bed gets a little dry because I turn a lot of green wood, and I do have a nice lathe, but it's not the robust with the stainless steel. So I got to keep the rust off of it. The product that I have found the best, not endorsing product, just showing the product that I use. If you know anything about guns, here's the go-to oil to clean your guns, but it works also great on my lathe bed. Followed up with what we were talking about tonight, steel wool. And that's how I go over my lathe bed, probably about after every turning, every other turning, depending on how green the wood was that I was using. And that really cleans the rust up off my lathe bed. So just a couple of little tips to keep that lathe bed clean. And then I want to show y'all one other thing. So most of us have some sort of dust collection system set up. My sander's sitting inside mine. And that big 4-inch hose that makes its way all the way over there to a dust collector. But you can also see I've got my 2-inch hose down there from the regular shop vac. And how did I make that fit? Well, I own a lathe, haha. And I just spun me an adapter out of a piece of wood to stick that in there. That 2-inch hose you'll find is a whole lot cheaper than that 4-inch hose. So I use the 4-inch for my actual dust collection system, sanding and whatnot. But when I'm cleaning up around the shop, well, I just turn my dust collector into a giant shop vac. So a couple of tips for y'all. If you have another way of doing it, I'd be happy to hear them.
Great idea, Doug. Really great idea. I like that. I thought you had a killer.
I have a tip on how to clean your chucks.
How to clean your tucks?
How to clean the chucks.
Oh, okay.
So, sorry, I'm doing laundry right now. It never ends in my house. So what I do to clean my chucks is I buy the no fume oven cleaner, the foamy oven cleaner, and I sit it in a sink outside and I spray it down really good with the oven cleaner. And I get resin, I get lacquer, I get CA glue, all kinds of stuff all over my chuck. And I usually wait until it's like mounded up to clean it. I know I'm bad. So the oven cleaner, I'll just spray on there, let it sit for a few hours, come right out, and I get one of those like steel or brass brushes, and that stuff just peels right off. Like the epoxy and everything that gets on it just comes right off, and it gets in all the nooks and crannies that oven cleaner. So I've been doing that since I've had chucks because it's just what I use, and then I spray them really good with. Same with Mike Rowe uses the gun oil. I use the rim oil that's sprayable for guns on it again to kind of like just oil it back up, and bam boom, I'm done. So
that oven cleaner you talked about does it hurt your hands? Can you make contact with it?
It does recommend you use to wear gloves. But what I usually do is I put it in my sink outside that I have outside, or you can put it on concrete ground somewhere outside. I don't even use oven cleaner on my oven because I don't like the smell. Even the low fume stuff kind of is like, I don't want it in my house. So I put it out on concrete outside or in my sink, and I spray it and just let it sit, and I'll rinse it off, and then I'll scrub. So that way I can do it with my hands without having to worry about getting on my hands. But if you do use oven cleaner and you're messing with it still on there, use some gloves.
Thank you. And let me throw another nickel in there. If you're going to use that product, not even washing it off, do a little something about this too. Safety glasses, a shield, something. Don't go crazy over it. Just think, if that'll splatter and spray on your shirt or hit you on the face, it'll hit you in the eye. I was in the construction business for 40 years, and people say, I don't think I need to wear a face shield or a helmet or anything else. and you just tell them, do this. Don't you feel that? That's the grit. Well, you just got lucky it didn't get in your eye. So protect your eyes. Years and years ago, somebody told me to clean my skill saw blades, because that was before we had carbide and you really had to clean blades and sharpen them. Spray them with oven cleaner, and then it'll clean all the stuff off. What I didn't hear was wear gloves, because for the next week I could just do this and a whole lot of me would flake off onto the table. And this happened 3 days before I got married for the first time. So I really look like a weirdo, more than weirdo, with the skin peeling off my hands. My dad says, he knew what happened, but he told everybody it was my nervous reaction to getting married. He might have been more exact than I thought.
Eddie.
Yes, sir. Hey, Mark.
Mark. I'm just going to add another tip on cleaning the goo and the garbage off the lathe, right? Everybody probably has a bottle of Fast Orange or Gojo or whatever around. If you just take a paper towel and put that Fast Orange on it and, spread it over your lathe bed, in about 30 seconds, it dissolves everything. You just wipe it off, and then you can, re-oil your ways or put WD-40 or whatever you want. And another tip that came to my mind when you were asking for tips is if you have a can, some type of can of maybe it's wipe-on poly or something else like that. After you use it, put the lid on tight and store it upside down. When you store it upside down, the next time you open it up, there's no scum, there's no nothing. It's clean.
I had a painter tell me that a long time ago, and I didn't believe him. But every time he left the job site, his cans were upside down, because the next day he didn't want to mix paint and do all that because of the skin. It's a simple trick, but it really worked. Now, you talked about using the orange hand cleaner stuff. Doesn't matter which brand you use. If you work with CA, have that named up, because if you do make contact and it goes through the glove, it's one of the first products you can rub onto it that you might rub the CA off of, because remember, that'll burn through your finger at some point. It might not the second you put it on it, but if you activate it with the wrong stuff, you'll lose skin. Anybody else with a tip trick tonight? We're open the floors. It's 8 o'clock.
Eddie,
give me 1 second. I have to do this, and I'll come right back to you. That's Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
All right, and now I got you. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a couple of things. I cannot figure out how to send a chat, so I'm going to ask a question of Kim Tippin. She gave a talk a couple of weeks ago about the different abrasiveness sanding stuff. Can she rank DE, rotten stone, and pumice according to abrasiveness? Number two, a tip. I use those stop loss bags. And when I buy something like tung oil or something, I put them in that. And I've had them last 1.5 years, 2 years, and never deteriorate, because as you use it, it collapses. And you dribble out a little bit as you need it. And it's made for alcohol, oil, lacquer, or anything. It's fantastic. Called stop loss bags. I buy mine at Woodcraft. Okay. And my third question, now this may cause some question. Which is better if you're going to buy a vacuum pot or a pressure pot to start doing some acrylic or epoxy casting? I'll get off. That's my three things.
I might throw a couple of these over to Kim right now.
Please.
See how
Okay, as far as the abrasive goes, DE powder is definitely finer in my opinion. I haven't really gone through and tested all of them individually. I just kind of tested what I made with here recently with the pumice. So I kind of just, like I said in the video, I kind of just make what works for me. And being that I do use a lot of resin in some of my pieces, I needed something that was going to be a little extra for the resin. So in my opinion, and my experience and my testing, my mix that I use actually has all three of those in it. And I know some people are like, oh, it doesn't make any sense, but it works for me. So try it. If you don't like it, then worst, you just throw out that small little batch and then you have your own. But I use the DE powder, which I feel is the finest. I feel it's finer than the triple F pumice, or the triple F pumice. And then you have the next pumice, which is like the 2F pumice, and you could tell the difference in the grits of those two. But I just mix all three of them together because my unicorn paste that I made, that Jen did a comparison video on, I mean, that stuff blew the other competition out of the water, and it amazed me because I didn't even know it did that. So that's why I decided to go with those three mixed together. In my video, I did two mixed together, but I went ahead and added it with my DE powder because I felt that, you know, that was better. And I've used it here recently and it works really well. So I don't know what the abrasions are of those. That's something that you would probably have to go and do a little research on the exact like number of the abrasion. I'm not a technical person. I just do what works. And as far as the pressure pot versus vacuum chamber, now when you pressurize resin, the idea of it is to shrink the bubbles. It doesn't actually get rid of them. It shrinks them so small you can't see them. With a vacuum chamber, it actually sucks the air out. Now, with a vacuum chamber, it actually because it's going in, what do they call it whenever you're vacuuming? What's the name?
Stabilizing.
Well, it's for stabilizing, but what it's the name of the actual direction that it goes.
It's evacuating.
Pressure. Anyways, it changes the resin has an exothermic reaction when you mix it already as it is. And that exothermic reaction depends on your outside temperature and how much resin you mix at one time. When you put it in the vacuum chamber amplifies that, causes it to boil immediately. It's something to do with the negative pressure, which amplifies the chemical reaction. So you do not want to put resin, regular casting resin, in a vacuum chamber. You will have a huge mess on your hands and a huge hot mess on your hands. You can, though, use cactus juice, which is designed for vacuuming because it's for stabilizing. So there's two different types of resin, you know, generally, I guess. You have your stabilizing, which you would use in a vacuum chamber, and then you have your casting, which you would use in a pressure pot. You don't want to use casting resin in a vacuum chamber. Most of them will boil because of that negative pressure, that vacuum, putting it under vacuum, causes the resin to heat up much faster. It's almost like there's a chart you can find online, and it goes like by however many ounces, it's like 10% more of the heat. So it's backwards than it is in the pressure pot.
Thank you, Kim. Appreciate that. And Dick Mueller threw a little nickel in the pot. On the chat, he had something that says the grains or the abrasiveness, coarse being first and fine being the last. It's 2F pumice, 4F pumice, rotten stone, and then DE powder. Again, the coarsest is 2F, then 4F, rotten stone, and then DE powder. Appreciate that, Dick. And that's what the chat's all about. I want to mention it now. If you want to save what's on the chat, all you have to do is go to the chat screen. On the lower right-hand corner, there's a little square with 3 buttons. When you press that, it said Save Chat. You press Save Chat, and everything before that will be saved. Now, get this. Everything after that, you didn't say save. So before we end in 20 minutes or so, if you want to save what's in the chat, like the information from Dick and the stuff earlier from Paul about the classes, and there's a stuff in here, put it in the chat if you want to share it. And if you've got classes coming up you want to attend and you think other folks want to be interested in, I know Cindy Droz has got some stuff coming up, and so does Doug and Glenn Lucas. I see all these notes from other clubs. So if you've got something like that you're attendant, you think our wood turners would like to be part of, put it on the chat. Then we all get to share it. Dane, you got anybody else up for gallery tonight?
No, I'm still working on my slacker stack.
Okay, slacker stack?
Yes, sir. That's what I call it. You know, items that I've got frustrated with, I set them aside, and you know, I call it a slacker stack.
Okay. If they don't work out, you call them barbecue?
Not yet. So far, they've all worked out. I've got 3 more items, and I've got my slacker stack cleared, and they all look good. Hopefully next week I'll have 2 pieces that are just going to look amazing.
Yeah, good. All right, thank you.
Amazing.
Slacker stack. When I got sick about 5 or 6 years ago and went back to the shop, my wife had to come out with me, and we brought a couple of garbage cans out, and she's picking up pieces. And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. And she says, well, this isn't done. I said, what I said, whoa, 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 whoa. It might not be done, but it is not undone. I mean, if there's bowl's got a shape to it, I can save it. And some things actually went football shaped. Those I sanded up and did other things. Don't throw it away too. It's a challenge. See what you can do to bring it around, save it, reclaim it. You've got work in it. You've got effort in it. Let's make that work, and you will develop habits, skills, arts that you can use in your other wood turning, and it makes what you do much better. Special demonstrations next week. We have one lined up, and I think we have one 2 weeks from next week. We have this. We found somebody in a club that has got turners that like to demonstrate, and they're talented in some special skills. I don't know what they are. All I know is I'd like to be able to do what they can do. So I want to find out what they can do. See, when Kim came on and said the vacuum pot versus the pressure pot, I didn't understand that. I was old time. You mix it up and you set it off on the side and let it cure. You don't do the air, you don't do the vacuum, you don't do any of that, because I hadn't been exposed to it. And now I have an idea which way I would go. And I've got the pressure pot that my mother had on the stove 60 years ago. And I have replacement gaskets and stuff at the top. Next time I do epoxy, I'm going to play with it a little bit. I know.
Be real careful with that, Eddie. Those lids are not made for that kind of pressure.
Yeah,
you might blow the lid right off that pot.
I think the beads in those safety pressure in a pressure pot for the stove has a rubber seal in it, and it will blow out, I think, after 30-ish. They're only designed to go to like 20 for the larger, like the canners, the big canners. The smaller ones are definitely lower rated. But for the big canners, you can go to like 15 and 20, and that's when you're starting to sing. But those blowout tabs, I think, are safety rated around 25, 30. With resin though, depending on, you really don't need that high of a pressure. Now, Alumilite will tell you you can use, like, I think 40 is the minimum. If anybody uses Alumilite, you might be able to pipe up. I actually fill mine to 60 because I have a slow leak in my pressure pot, but it's not enough for me to have to fool around and create more leaks to find the leak. You know what I mean? So it goes down to about 30, and it holds at 30 for the 24 hours that I need it, and I never bubbles. So you're using a stove pressure pot. I don't know. I've also made a PVC one that could only hold 30 pounds, and I've cast small items in that, and it was fine. So I would just be more reluctant when it comes to larger items with a lot more air that needs to be pressurized. So you might be able to get away with it if you do 20. I don't I don't know. I've never tried it. I have done 30 and it's worked.
Thank you. Thank you. You see, you learn what others know. And that's why we're here every single. If you come on in again.
Yeah, this is Dane again. So I just wanted, as you and I have been talking earlier in the week. So I've got two top of the line casters that are set up, and I'm looking to have the first one present next week if everything is good with their schedule, and then have the second one do a demo the week after and or 2 weeks after the first one if the group is interested in having a second demonstration done by these two casters. And both of them have and are supplying the majority of the turning warehouses, turning stores here locally, here in the nation, between Woodcraft, Rockler, Turner's Warehouse, Classic Nib, Exotic, blanks, supplying them all with their version of their hybrids and their call blanks and whatnot. So, but they're excited to be able to come on board and give a 15, 20-minute demonstration and have a Q&A afterwards. So that's something that we've got that I'm working on. Like I said, I'm going to try and get the first one for next week. If not next week, then the following week. And then at the same time, I've got 3 others. Unfortunately, they're in the middle of a business move, but they are game to come on board and do another demo at a later time, provided we as a group are still enthralled about seeing and listening and learning from it. So, but that's something in the works that I'm trying to get worked out and going for us.
Good. Thank you, Dane. And that inviter, that program is open to everybody. Everybody. You don't have to be an advisor. You're a team member. You're part of the team here. Now, Dane just says something about these guys with the casting and providing castings. I got a note today from Ruth Niles. And y'all know Ruth. That's the little lady that sells bottle stoppers and stuff. Well, she's got some castings with burls in them and epoxy on them and all. And the right sizes to do handles and bottle stoppers and all that on a trial basis. So if you know Ruth, call them. Say, hey, Ruth, I want to get such and such. Because that's what I do. I bug the heck out of her. And she's supposed to join us, but it's still her vegetable garden time, and she eats what she grows, and she doesn't quit by this time, by the time we get this program started. Anybody else up with tips and hints? We're about 1:15.
I just got to add one more in there, Eddie. It's Doug Rowe again.
And I got you in there.
So it just concerned me when the whoever it was asking about the difference between the pressure pots and the vacuum and all that. Sounds to me like he's excited and he wants to jump into it and get started. And more power to you. I just want to share with you one trick it went wrong for me because I didn't know better. And so what I'm telling you is be careful of whatever it is that you choose to use as a mold. For me, I've found a lot of success with cardboard molds, maybe a little hot glue around the seams just to hold things in there a little better. And then I can turn that cardboard off just like I would bark on a piece of wood. I've also used a lot of plastic, and plastic works, but that's where I found my mistake. I used the wrong kind of plastic, had the thing sitting over on my workbench. The resin heated up. I turned around and I just had a big marshmallow goo falling off my workbench down onto my floor. So you just need to be real careful about what it is that you're going to choose to use as your mold. You don't need to go buy all those super expensive silicone ones out there that they want to sell you. There's plenty of stuff probably sitting right there in your house that you can use. But any of the real thin plastic stuff like that pretzels come in or whatever, as a matter of fact, that's specifically what I was using, a pretzel container when it failed on me horribly. So just a little heads up on that. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
A good tip on the plastic.
What?
I can give you I'm sorry. I can give you a good tip on what kind of plastic, especially around the house type plastic. So most plastics that shampoos, chemicals in your home come in, Make sure you wash them out really well. Your laundry detergent, your softener, most HDPE, I think it's a 5 is on the bottom, or a 2. I think it's a 5. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared. Most of your household chemicals, soaps, things like that, those types of plastic can be used. The bigger liter bottles, shampoo bottles, are really convenient. You can also cut up milk jugs. Milk jug is fine plastic. I use that quite a bit. Vinegar bottles, I'm trying to give you an idea of things that people buy that they can use. Vinegar, shampoo, laundry detergent. Most of those plastics are just fine for what you're going to use them for, because they're for chemicals and it's HDPE, and that's the plastic you really want to try to use, because for one, it doesn't stick to resin, so you can easily peel that off. And for two, like Doug said, that I've done the same mistake. Thinner plastics, they don't tend to do well with that heat, so they will melt. But most common plastics that you have around your house, I always save all my laundry detergent jugs, and I just cut them up, and then I can, make molds if I need to, or whatever. So to give you an idea what kind of plastic to look for.
Thank you, Kim. There's a kid looking for you. All right. We just heard in here from Dan Roselle. Thanking us for what we're doing and sharing information. That's what we do. And I'm getting an education on vacuuming and what not to use to do my molds and stuff. And, oh, wait. We just got, Clint said Folgers coffee too. It's an HDPE. HDPE, I spelled it right. And Walmart's got cheap silicone ice cube or chocolate molds that you can use. And HDP is a recycle number 2. Wow, y'all got some stuff. And remember, if you want to see all this, save chat. And that's where it's at. Gallery.
There's nothing listed at the moment, Eddie.
All right, Dane, thank you, sir. Here's the way we're working at. If you got a piece to show in gallery, you write into the chat room, just go in and say, I have a gallery item, and Dane will see that. Dane will introduce you. We'll get up there. And remember, we have a no but guarantee.
That's right, no buts.
No buts.
Unless it's a pork butt, and then just let us know where it's at.
Because, who am I to judge your work? I used to go to club meetings where some bumpkin would stand in and say, oh, it's nice, but.
If we got space to fill, I can give another tip on the resin stuff. But if we need to move on, we can move on.
No. What is your tip? Don't use a butter jar or what?
Yeah, don't use the butter. No. So, okay, back to the silicone molds. So I do use them, but I use them for when I mix up too much resin. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you can find these at the thrift stores and even Walmart. They're not too much money, but they're for whatever various cupcakes or things. So there's some Christmas snowmen, right? So when I mix up too much resin, I'll just dump them in these things. And then I wind up getting some extra pieces that I'll use on, I don't know, other various projects as I go along the way. So, well, there's one of the snowmen out of some extra purple resin that I made for something. I don't remember what. There's a little green guitar. I don't know what I'll ever use it on, but it'll go on something. It's extra resin rather than waste it. I throw it in there. The other thing that I've done was I just pour I keep an extra cup for all you gun lovers. There's a gun. And then I wound up making a really cool snowman hat for a snowman I made at Christmas time out of resin. And all it was every time I had leftover resin, I just poured it into a cup. And then when it came time, I just threw that cup up onto the lathe and I turned it into a hat for a snowman.
You know what that's called? It's called resin fordite.
What'd you say?
Resin fordite.
Resin.
All right.
So fordite is from the automakers back in the day, all the paint that dripped off of the cars when they were spray painting them. So they would make these little mounds of, dripping paint. And so it's called fordite, Fordite. And that's a prized item within the pin turning world.
And then outlaw out west, what's his name? Jacobson? Carl?
Yeah, Carl Jacobson.
Carl Jacobson, yeah.
Yeah, he wears a striped shirt. I think it's required by law. But he does a lot with that Fordite stuff, and he's really come up some nice art with it. It is an artistic looking piece if you just stop to think about what it is, but what it is. Can I say that? What it is? Because it's fine layers. And it's not fine layers of blue. It's fine layers of every color you can imagine. Anybody know where you can get it? That's what we're here for. Come on.
So Eddie, give a tip on when you buy your cans of tung oil or bold linseed oil or wipe on poly, and about saving them and preventing them from getting the skin on them. So what I do is I pour, when I get a new can of say tung oil, I will put them into a brown bottle. This happens. My preferred choice is those kombucha juice bottles they have at the store. I buy them and just dump that crap out, clean the bottle, and I'll put my tung oil in it, and it doesn't skin up at all. Same with my wipe on poly, no skin. I've even got I've even got lacquer, and it doesn't skin up.
Well, they seal differently than a can.
Yes, and that's always my issues with the can, because even if you wipe it off, you're always still, you put it up, you slosh some on there, it still gets gummed up at the top, and you're always having issues with it skinning up, inside, whether you're tipping it upside down or not, you're going to have loss coming with your oils. But, I've been doing this for about 5 years now, and I've never had an issue.
Good. That's an idea. Folks, a lot of folks think that if that can cover goes on, it's closed.
Right. It's not.
All right. Dane Chandler, that's you. All right.
Yes,
don't use solo cups.
Yep, that's me. So my very, very first time casting, so I went out in the backyard, which is the desert, got a real nice piece of cholla cactus skeleton. And so I thought I was going to make myself a shot glass, and I cast it liquid diamonds, no pressure pot, put it in a solo cup, and then took it out to my oven, which is my truck, and I set it on my console. And I go back 2 hours later, and I just had this smear all the way down my console and on the seat. And yeah, that wasn't good. It's still, the majority of it is still there.
Well, this is go to waste.
The soap cup was gone. It was red. It was gone. It just melted in that thermo heat reaction that resins do when they're curing. It was crazy stuff. But yeah, don't use red solo cups.
All right, and I got this from Doug Roselle. My wife pours extra resin from her crafts into silicone coaster molds. And we're going to wrap the evening up with a piece from Roger Carter. Roger, say a little something. We get you up here. Roger, you have to talk. I can't find you if you don't talk. Roger. Okay, he was on the chat, said he had something to show. Doug about the solo cup said, ouch. All right. All right, folks, if you're interested in what we have in the chat, that's where I was looking at just now. Sometimes I don't get time or the patience or whatever to look at it. Go to Save Chat. That's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go to the chat screen. I'm going to click the little button in the bottom, and the top line on that says Save Chat. And I just saved everything that was discussed in the past 2 hours. So if I want to reference it, it's on my computer, my availability. Now, we're working with our webmaster to start placing that information on our website also. So when you go look at the program that's there, you go looking for something else, you can always refer back to the chat thing, because that helps us all by what we're discussing. And Clint Hoyle says, I'm mixing in those clear water cups. The epoxy never hardened. That's got to be rough. We had
If it didn't harden, that was a bad mix. It was a bad mix, because even if you didn't stir it right, you would have got portions in there that got hard. And I made that mistake once, and I was using a potato chip can, the Pringles cans, and it felt like it hardened because I did put the hardener in there. I didn't stir it properly, spinning it on the lathe with a parting tool, and all of a sudden I got showered in resin because I used a different type of resin for the first time, and I mixed it like I had used my old resin. Didn't read the directions. I just picture.
Well, you're a wood turner. You're not supposed to read the directions until after it goes wrong. Now, last week we had a lady come on and say she had a problem with some product because she was using 2-to-1, but she was doing the wrong 2 to the wrong 1.
That'll do it.
And sometimes it's confusing when the instructions are written. The guy that writes the instructions knows all about the product. Well, sometimes that knowledge goes into the instructions, but you don't have his knowledge before it got written. I got a new tool the other day. Everything I read on it told me what I was doing was right. And then I found out the guy that wrote that didn't know what he was doing. And for him, it worked out because he'd done other things like it. And had taken all that information and moved it down to a little bitty book that he could mail with the machine. So, and this was in my wife's studio. And then I've gotten these German tools for her studio that went together so nicely. It was unbelievable because when you had A and B go together, you had a centering pin that lined it up. I mean, really, if I didn't put a bolt in it, it'd probably still be standing there. But when you get instructions, read them over, and it's stupid to say. Make sure you understand. It's now 8:30, and we have this program. We start at 6:30 on Wednesday evenings. We run until 8:30, and boom, that's it. We had some slacks in the time. Boom, you need to be in there. Until next Wednesday night at 6:30, I wish each and every one of y'all a safe day in the shop, and I ask only one thing: be safe. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan for Worldwide Woodturners, and remember our site, worldwidewoodturners.org. We're waiting on you to get involved. Really are. Thank you. Be safe, please.
Thank you, everybody. Great meeting.
Good night,
everyone. Thanks, team.
Good night, England.
Good night,
Or
Kim.
good morning, England.
Thank you all. Have a good week.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Good night, all.
You want to
See
hang
you
out
next
and talk?
week.
Good night. Jason, you still there?
You what? You looking for me?
Yes, you.
Yeah.
On your bowl.
Yeah.
So you got a multitude of options on that. So the easy way would be to take some duct tape and put it on the outside where that crack is at. Turn your bowl on in and then fill, just, set it on in where it's balanced, and you can fill it with resin. The other options, like everybody else was talking about, take your parting tool and take and trim it off right there at the bottom where that bottom of that break is. Trim that off even, and then bring in another piece and either a contrasting piece, glue that on, and then re-glue, and then glue on the other section. So you got your bowl bottom, you got the contrasting piece, and then you got the piece that you cut off.
I haven't messed with resin yet, so.
So I really like System 3, and they have a 15-minute epoxy. resin that you mix up, and literally at 14 minutes that stuff starts getting hot, and you better have it laid in where it needs to go at. But I use that quite often to fill voids, and I mix my collars and whatnot in, for it. And, and I use primarily duct tape as the mold. If you've got a, say you got a bowl and it's got it's more in on the sides, as opposed to the other side. It's further out on this side, but it's in on this side. And then, so what I've done, is I'll take and either take ticky tack tape and line that around, make a dam, pour in the System 3 epoxy, and I mix it up. I just mix it up in a Dixie cup, pour it in, 45 minutes later, mix another cup, pour it in, because first that's already hardened up. And ticky tack tape works awesome as a dam, and it doesn't stick to the resin. And the same thing with duct tape. Duct tape doesn't stick to the resin. But
Okay. Jason,
on that. Hey, Doug.
Jason, can you show that bowl again? I didn't see it earlier.
It's got a big old chip out of it, and I don't know. It's kind of the first one I was really messing with. I don't know if you can see the tool marks in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'll come
And
out.
it's been turned a couple of times, but it was pretty green when I started it. I don't know if you can see, but like, well, let's see.
Yeah,
This side's pretty thin here, but then it's thicker on this side.
Yeah.
So I don't know
definitely
if
where
I
it's
just
warped.
didn't let it dry. Yeah, dry quite right, or.
So on that thin side, how far is that thinness going down that wall? Is it thin all the way going down the wall, or is it just thin there at the top?
No, it's all the way down the wall. I don't know if there's really anything I can really do with it. Like I said, I don't know if you can kind of see some of the
Yeah, I see
tool
'em.
marks and that.
Well, you
Yeah,
can
it's
send
just
it.
You can not-
post it to me.
Send it to me, and I'll send it back to you when I'm done.
So it's one of those deals that's been sitting over here. I got frustrated with it, and I keep looking at it like, okay, I got to do something with that.
Yeah, like I said, if you're frustrated, just set it aside and then move on to your next piece. It's kind of like taking a test. You're going through and you're looking at the questions, and you get to the question, and you're like, oh crap, I've got to spend 5 seconds longer on this than normal. Skip it and then come back to it.
Yeah.
So that's what I just set it aside, and then I'll pick now I can pick a week, and okay, this is what I'm going to do until I clear my stack, because I don't want to get more. For me, I don't get no more than 10 items in it before I figure out what it is. I think I'm where I can do it now. So
yeah, I mean,
in the past I just burned them.
I've had a couple that I've thrown in the burn pile. So,
but that
but I mean, that was a nice piece of wood, and it was still pretty green when I first turned it, and I don't think I let it sit and dry out quite long enough when it was still pretty thick.
You really don't have to, because then the shrinkage and or warpage is it should go vertically with the piece, so you would have a nice warp to it, if you had it as a final piece, turned to the final dimension.
Yeah, I have another bowl. It was out of the same type of wood. I think it's ash. It's, if you look at it, it's not round, but it looks really nice.
Right.
It does have that warp in it, but that one's actually sitting on the dining room table.
Yeah, you're right. Conversation piece.
My wife's like, yeah, I want that.
That's like that. Yeah.
But I ended up with this huge piece of ash, and I've already cut, I don't know, 2 bigger, decent-sized bowls and 2 smaller bowls out of it, and I think I still have 3 or 4 pieces of it left. And most of the time while this is going on, I'm in here working in the shop, so listening and looking. But so that's the little piece I got, little chunk that was left. And I've been thinking about it. It's nothing big. I have some Purple Heart, and I was almost thinking about doing just a circle in the middle with Purple Heart on this. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
That's enough.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, most of the time when I'm out here, this is my day out in the shop. And
Right. Yeah, you know the trick on Purple Heart to bring the purple back to it after it's turned, right?
Heat gun.
Yes.
That's
That or
that's what I've
sunshine.
used. Yeah.
Heat or a torch
Yeah.
or a windshield of the vehicle.
I usually take mine out, set it on the hood of the car out in the sun. It gets as purple as it can be.
Oh, that's beautiful wood.
Advantage of the heat out here in Arizona, and that's what allows me to get multiple coats of tung oil or lacquer or whatever on a piece and get it fully cured. Because I just set
So
it
this
out
was nothing special. The handle, I had a couple pieces of hickory and Purple Heart that I just glued together, and that's one of my tool handles.
There you go.
Didn't turn out too bad, but
no.
Unfortunately, I don't ever use that one
Purple
because
Heart.
it's.
Do what?
Was that Dane?
I didn't know that about Purple Heart. So you're saying after you put your finish on it, then you put it out in the sun, or before you put your finish on it?
Before you put your
I've
finish
always,
on it.
yeah, before.
Before you put your finish. Huh. I never knew that about Purple Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
working it goes brown on you real bad. So you put it in the sun or even just hot temperatures and it'll go back to purple.
Yeah, you can test it with your propane torch.
If you get it
For
too
us
hot,
out here, just your windshield. Throw it out in the windshield of your car.
Yeah. Huh. Good
I
tip.
know if you get it too hot, it'll get real resiny.
Yeah.
When you're trying to
Pulls the
sand
oil
it,
out
it'll
of
just clog up the sandpaper bad.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Pulls
I'm
the
gonna
oil
get
out.
more juice. I'll be back in a minute, guys.
Did you see my message I sent to you, Dane?
He stepped away for just a second.
Oh.
I want to check here for a moment. I'm just listening because I have to be monitoring. So when it winds down a little bit more, we'll call in the evening. But right now, I'm enjoying it. I didn't know that about the Purple Heart. I got a whole lot of gray here. So just
Hey, Doug. Oh.
Yeah.
Is Doug Rowe still in there?
Yep, I'm still here too.
Okay. Did you see the message I sent to you in chat?
No, I didn't.
No. So a good friend of mine, he's getting married here in September. His wife is in the Air National Guard.
Okay.
And I want to say around the end of September, their unit is actually getting ready to deploy.
Yeah.
And I have a bunch of pins here already, but I think I got to get some more information from them and see how many. But I'm trying to get together. I'd like to get together a bunch of pins for them guys before they leave out.
Okay.
So, and I don't know what the channels are. I mean, I can't do them all myself.
Yeah.
But
so let's put it out to the club again on Wednesday, and then
okay.
Are you friends with me on Facebook? I think you are, aren't you?
I don't know. I look at my Facebook here and there, but
okay.
Well,
if you are, shoot me your address over Messenger. I've got still some left over here that I can get boxed up and sent over to you.
All right. I have
up in Washington. He is prior service Air Force. So I was trying to hold his to get them out to the Air National Guard out here in Arizona. But it sounds like you guys a connection to the Air National Guard too, so I
Well,
can get
it's my friend's wife, or soon-to-be wife.
Yeah.
She's in that unit, so that's how I found out about it. But I
Yeah.
think she's out of Peterson Air Force Base here in Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
But I'll try and get some more information before next week and what the unit is and how many.
Okay. If you want to jot down my cell number, I'll just give it to you right now, and then you can just call me.
Yeah. I got a pencil. Now I just got to find something to write on.
You
That's the one that's
right there behind you.
Yeah. Well, there's already all kinds of notes up here.
Yeah, that's
So-
mine's the same way. It's 602 501 2878.
2878.
Correct.
So 501-2878?
Correct, with a 602 area code.
Got it.
I didn't convert one of them 928s when I moved north.
Yeah, one of these weeks I'm going to make a trip up to Scottsdale. I want to stop at the White Castle and pick up 4 or 5 dozen burgers. And then from there, I'm going to head up and see you, Doug.
All righty. Yeah.
I just got to work on planning it out and then letting you know what's good for you and whatnot.
All righty.
You want me to bring some mesquite up for you, or?
Yeah, if you got some mesquite and I got some elm here and I got some black walnut, and we'll do a good trade.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've got tons of free. I can bring you some. Might be able to part with a couple pieces of eucalyptus. I'll really have to twist.
You know
my
what?
arm.
I've got quite a bit of eucalyptus already.
Yeah, I love eucalyptus.
I found a trash pile down there in Phoenix. Actually, somebody else had turned me on to it, and I went and found the owner and whatever, and he's like, "Take all you want." And I wish I'd have had my chainsaw and pickup truck, but I was coming from work in my uniform in my little rice burner car, but I piled as much as I could in there, and then.
Hey, Cade, what you got going?
You can send something this way. All I got up here is pine.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry I'm late. Better late than never. I had a conflicting meeting.
You'll have to rewatch the meeting when it's posted. We had a good meeting tonight. A lot of information.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have
too.
to check it out. Where does he post the meetings, the recorded meetings? On the webpage?
Yeah, on the webpage.
Okay, sweet. I missed last week because I was on vacation camping with the wife, and then this week I was a little busy with production, but today I did my a test run demo Zoom meeting with a handful of peers from a local club here, so it went well. It was a 2-hour demo through Zoom on turn a small thin-walled bowl, and it went well. I got some really good feedback, so all I need to do is really take that feedback into account, and I think I'm ready to go. That's what some of them said. So, but I think I want to do a second test video just to make sure, and then I'll be ready to go. I recorded them as well, so I can critique them as well. But yeah, it went better than expected. So
hey, can you
I
let
look
us
forward to doing the.
Can you
Sorry,
get us
I look
involved?
forward to doing. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Cade. Can you get us involved? Can we see it, or can we participate?
Yeah, sure. I thought about putting it out there on Facebook and having people join, but for my sort of test video, I didn't want too many people just because I'm still sort of figuring out the Zoom and the software and the broadcasting software. But it went very well. So, I mean, my next test video, I can definitely invite more people than I had before. And yeah, I just wanted I just wanted to do a couple of small groups before I really jumped in because I didn't know exactly how many I would get once I started doing them. So, yeah, but I look forward to doing them soon.
Yeah. Did you get
Sorry?
a lot of questions? Did you get a lot of questions and answers afterwards?
Yeah, I got quite a few questions and answers afterwards. I had two people who have never turned and don't really know what a lathe is, so they were really intrigued and learned and said it was really well. I came across very well, so they were able to follow and learn, even though they don't know what the hell a bowl gouge is. So, but yeah, it went great. So next time I'm looking to have people who have more experience with the lathe to give me feedback on camera angles and stuff. I mean, I'm sort of used to demoing in front of groups and clubs, but it's a lot different talking to a brick wall.
Right. Yeah, I bet that was awesome. I know when I try to do it, I've made a bunch of videos, but I don't post them because I go back, I look at them and like, yeah, I am not putting that up.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to chop it up with video software. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm done. Delete.
So you guys have seen me. I play around a lot with the Facebook Lives, and I do that. And
yeah,
there's been a couple of times where I go back and I'll watch it and I'll see where I did something that was not safe. No, I just delete it right off Facebook.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's kind of a nice trial and error for me too, because then people do make comments and a lot of times they won't make the comments in the main chat of the video. They'll send me a direct message, which is cool, whatever. And they'll ask me different things or, hey, here's how you could have done that, which is cool. And that's what I always ask for feedback on them. But it's Facebook, man. Who cares? If you don't like what they said, delete their damn comment.
Yeah, well, you're used to talking to a wall anyhow, being a shirt.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
If I could have told you the issues I dealt with today, you'd have been laughing.
I bet. Hey, I don't miss it at all.
Wood Turner's Captain Eddie here. We're going to call it a night. I'm going to pull the plug.
All right.
And
Okay,
I'll be all back next week. Take care and be safe, please.
All right.
Party's over.
Eddie, I'll
Good night.
get some information in email.
All right. You all have a good night.
Good night.